Welcome to today's episode of the Working Wisdom podcast series, brought to you by the CT Bauer College of Business at the University of Houston. We're having a conversation about work-life balance, how to navigate and overcome challenges within your career, and how to make business more accommodating to a diverse workforce.
Welcome to this episode of How Do They Do It? This is Amanda Sebesta with the Bauer College Office of Communications, and I'm here today with Yara Suki, who is a Bauer College alumni. She graduated in 2015, and she works for Bauer's Sales Excellence Institute. And also, she is a founder of Bauer Designs, and she owns and runs her own food blog, Chili and Chives. Yara, thanks for joining us today.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so happy to be here.
So, you're a woman of many talents. So just kind of kick us off and kind of tell me about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Yara. I was born and raised here in Houston, Texas, and I have been, a proud graduate of the Bauer College of Business since 2015, where I had the great pleasure of studying marketing and management. And alongside, definitely having some great hobbies that I've managed to enjoy alongside my full-time career. I spent a couple years working for one of the Program for Excellence in Selling's corporate partners mattress firm, where I did corporate internal communications for a little while. And then I came back to be the program manager for our undergraduate sales program, and I help manage 120 students on a daily basis.
That's a lot of students.
Yes, but they're great ones.
They're great ones, yes. I have here that you grew up in a Lebanese family.
Yes.
Yes. So, and it mentions, you were growing up in this Lebanese family and you were always around food.
Always.
Yes. Tell me about that experience and what were kind of some of your favorite foods growing up?
Yeah, so honestly, I grew up in a Lebanese household, but we ate a lot of everything. By ate a lot, I mean we really ate a lot. But my parents both love to cook. My sister and I love to cook and to bake, and I grew up on weekends. Like, our weekend activity was eating breakfast, planning for lunch, and then while we were eating lunch, planning for dinner, and lots of food. But really, I love to eat everything. I am not a picky eater whatsoever. I grew a passion in cooking and was, every time I was left home alone when I was 12 years old, I would make food for my parents while they were at work and I was out on summer break, and come home and I would feed them crunchy potatoes and really nasty pasta. But so over time I kind of practiced, and actually after graduation I saved up and I went to France for a month and I did a cooking program where I really just spent all day, every day cooking. And it was so much fun and very thrilling. But then I came back and everyone wanted me to cook for them.
The downside.
Yes.
But also the upside.
Yes. I mean, I'm down to cook for anyone.
That's awesome. So you've kind of, that love of food, you've turned that into your food blog, Chili and Chives. Why did you want to start a food blog?
Right. It was just an outlet for me to be creative, share my food. So many times I just make up recipes, and so now I can kind of go back, relive some of the exciting dishes that I created, and then just enjoy my journey through food. And it's been just a fun, creative outlet. Definitely didn't think it'd be getting any spotlight, but fun for me to do on the side.
Yeah, and how long have you been doing the food blog?
It's been a couple of years. Yeah.
In addition to your food blog, which is just your fun side gig, you also have a business called Bauer Designs. So can you tell us about what that is and what inspired you to start that business?
Right. So along with cooking, very young, my mom, she's super artsy. She put me in front of a computer and she was like, "Hey, have fun. This is what you can do to fill your time." And I started picking up graphic design, and then my parents would start giving me opportunities to volunteer for local events and stuff like that, just to have fun, fill my time. And so I decided that I wanted to kind of start like a side business doing it. Essentially, I build websites, logos, different kinds of graphic art, whether it's marketing material or just fun like birthday and thank you cards. And in doing that, I kind of realized, okay, so I love food. I love graphic design. I also love event planning, and I'm blessed to be able to do some event planning and a little bit of everything here at U of H. And so my thought was, in the long run, this would become kind of a full-service event planning business, starting with, the invitations to the menu and the catering, as well as actually planning the event. So actually recently I've also been doing some event and wedding planning. And so it's kind of this whole package that's kind of just coming together on its own almost.
And it's great that you can like combine your interests and your passions and make it into a successful business. I don't think a lot of people
Right.
get to do that.
Right. I mean, I grew up with, with family who's super supportive, with a husband who's super supportive now. And they're like, well, if that's something you want to do, you should go for it. And that's why I've been able to, work a full-time job and then come home and essentially work another full-time job, because it's the people who I've surrounded myself with that are really positive encouragement to build and do what I want.
You have all these creative outlets, design, photography, and food, but you went to school here at Bauer for sales. Why were you interested in that kind of route?
Right. So coming in, I was, a student from a small private high school in Houston. Didn't really know what exactly I wanted to do, but I did know that I wanted to go to Bauer College of Business, right? Great school, a lot of opportunities, so many things that I could take advantage of. But at the same time, like I'm sure a lot of students are, and their first couple semesters are a little overwhelmed. It's a big school, got to find new friends, not really sure where to go. And so I kept looking for an opportunity to find students who were driven like I was, students who wanted to have great opportunities, and essentially a team that I could call my family. Mm-hmm. I was doing spin role plays and marketing 3337, and one of the assistant program managers was like, man, you have a great handshake. And I was like, okay, thank you. And I didn't think much of it. And then every time I'd bump into him, he would say, hey, you should apply for PES. You should come to one of our info sessions. You should learn more about it. And so when I took a look, I was like, you know what? I've never thought about sales. I'm not really even sure what sales is,
right.
But I'm interested in taking the next steps to figure it out. And then I came in and I realized it's not just sales, it's how to have a conversation, how to listen, all of which are really great things, especially when you're trying to start your own business on the side.
We're going to take just a short break to hear a word from our sponsors, and when we return, we'll continue our conversation with Yara Suki. Join the conversation. Bauer College's Working Families Initiative is bridging the gap between industry and academia to create a conversation on how organizations can make the workplace more family-friendly. We're talking about flexibility, maternity and paternity leave, and career transitions. For more information about the Working Families Initiative at Bauer College, including upcoming events, visit bauer.uh.edu/workingfamilies. And we're back with Yara Suki. So Yara, before we took a break, you were talking a little bit about the Program for Excellence in Selling and getting into sales. Can you tell us a little bit more about the program, what that was like, and kind of how it helped you along your way in creating your own businesses?
Absolutely. So PES is an undergraduate sales program. It's a 2-semester program where students can either complete a certificate, advanced certification, or a minor in sales. And it's open to all majors across the university. But the reason I joined was really because I wanted to differentiate myself, stand out above everyone else, and then, like I mentioned, find a family here on campus. And coming in, I didn't know what to expect. I was like, okay, there's some classes, there are some professors, and some people who work that are staff. I'm not really sure what that means. And in coming in, I actually realized that it's a group of 14 faculty and staff members who are strictly dedicated to you, your development, your experience, and essentially your long-term career opportunities. I was very blessed to, beyond just taking the classes, taking the capstone class, which is key account selling, which is the top 20 students who apply and make it into that class, will manage our corporate sponsors, which are corporate partners, which account for $10,000 to $100,000 contracts. And wow. For an undergraduate student to say that they've managed that amount of money and the entire relationship surrounding it, it's really incredible. And through that, I was able to network with executives, really high-level employees in these great organizations. And we have 27 corporate partners, and I really got to know them at a really deeper level, which all of our students really have the exposure and the opportunity to do. And going on, I graduated from the program and I became an assistant program manager myself. So I kind of did the marketing communications, managed the social media platforms for a while and the newsletter. And when I graduated, I went to go work for one of our corporate partners. So you can definitely say I drank the Kool-Aid, right? But it was a great experience overall. And as soon as I graduated, I was, I'm sure you'd love to hear, really involved alumni. I came back and I helped train for sales competitions because actually in 2015, I competed at the State Farm Marketing and Sales Competition and won first place in the nation. So I was invited to come back and help coach the students alongside some of the faculty and staff. And so stayed involved my 2 years that I was away at Mattress Firm. And then, when the opportunity arose to come back here to give back to the program at an even higher level as a program manager, I honestly, I couldn't say no. So now I manage our first semester students most closely and our PES Open Golf Tournament that we host every semester, as well as kind of the head of the recruiting arm. So finding new students to come in, looking for the best and the brightest, anyone, who's really interested in differentiating themselves and standing out themselves.
So for Babuka Designs, where would you say you pull your inspiration from when you are designing?
Oh gosh, that's a good question, because I think inspiration comes both from within my experiences, the things that I see that inspire me, either someone else's art or, when I speak to someone and I see their passion, that really fuels me. But really, I love to just sit down and have a conversation with whoever it is that I'm building something for, whether it's a website, business card, whatever that may be, because ultimately I want to build something that matches my brand, but beyond that, I want to build something that matches your vision and your dream. So coming in and kind of listening, kind of figure out the colors and stuff like that, that's usually where I start and I'll build from there.
Now, does Babuka Designs have a team or is it just you?
Oh, it's a one-man show. Yeah.
All right.
One-woman show, I guess you can say.
Yeah, one-woman show.
Right. So, it's really just me. Now, whenever, I've got weddings or some other kind of events, I've got my sister who's on standby, ready to jump in wherever she's needed. But so far, it's just me. The plan was to start something that, started as a hobby, turn it into a business. It's not necessarily meant to become this really big corporation or anything like that, just a way for me to kind of monetize the hobbies that I have.
Yeah. So, you just mentioned that you don't want Babuka to be this huge corporation sort of thing, but where do you see it going in 5-10 years from now?
Yeah, so I really hope that I can keep making the push to, I don't know, maybe make it a full-time thing in a few years, we'll see how it goes. It definitely takes a long time. My dad used to say it takes 20 years to become an overnight success, right?
Okay, yeah,
So
it
takes a lot of time, a lot of hard work and dedication. I didn't think that at first I could do that alongside a full-time job, but I think I've proven to myself that when there's a will, there's a way. So hopefully making it a full-time career so that one day when I've got kids, then I have the flexibility of owning my own business, and hopefully, like I mentioned, becoming that full-service event planning company that I was talking about.
Great. And so, since you work with students on such a regular basis, what advice could you give to them about kind of having this side job, but also having a career, kind of balancing that? What advice would you give to them?
Right. So coming out of college, you're like, okay, I want to work, I want to make some money. It's harder than I think some students realize, to actually go and just be doing one thing for the rest of your life, right? College is fun. You get some class time, you get some time to join student orgs. So whatever it is that you're passionate about, I highly encourage and recommend that you add that alongside whatever you're doing, because you spend most of your days and most of your time at work with your coworkers, and that's great. And I hope that I encourage that you find a career that is something you really love and are passionate about. But if it doesn't fulfill you, there's no shame in doing something on the side. And if it's something that you want to do, you'll make the time for it.
So where could people find your food blog and your business?
Right. So you can go to bubukadesigns.com, B-U-B-U-K-A designs.com. And I've got a link to my blog on the site and some more information about, what I'm doing, and a little bit about the story of where Bubuka, the name, came from.
And that's when you said it, I was like, wait a minute, I needed to ask you, where does that word and name come from?
Right.
It's a cool story. Sorry.
Yeah. So, okay. When I was deciding that I want to officially make a website and I'm going on the road here, right? I was sitting on the couch with my mom, my dad, my sister, my then fiance, now husband, and we were like, okay, so what should we name it? Like, this is fun, right? My mom's creative, so she got into it. And my sister was like, well, duh, name it Bubuka. And really, that's the nickname that my mom made for me when I was a little kid. She had one for me, one for my sister. My sister was cannelloni, like the pasta.
I like it.
Yes, I know. Which, I mean, like I said, we like to eat. So she thought at the time, we've now realized she was wrong, but she had a Greek friend who said that bubuka meant the word for flower bud, like a little rosebud. And turns out that the actual word is bumbuki, but we didn't find that out till I was coming to build the website. And I was like, yeah, let me just Google so I don't look like a fool online. And turns out it was wrong, but I was like, but my nickname is Bubuka, so I'm just going to kind of go with that.
Go with it. There you go.
Yeah. And my inspiration comes from my mom, so I would say that it kind of all goes hand in hand.
And was your mom a graphic designer, or what did your mom do?
My mom actually works at MD Anderson. So
wow.
She's been there since before I was born. But like I said, she did that, but she's such a creative soul that on the side she would, paint friends' houses and kitchens just for fun and do a lot of mixed media art as well. So if I were to say that I got any of my art acumen, it's from my mom.
How cool. It's great that y'all get to balance kind of the professional side and the creative side, and I just did air quotes for the professional side because you can still be creative in that role too, but
right.
It's great. Well, Yara, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy to be here and very excited to hopefully inspire a new generation of entrepreneurs.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of the Working Wisdom podcast series from the CT Bauer College of Business, brought to you by the Working Families Initiative. The initiative aims to provide support and access for women in business school and the workforce, and to generate research that organizations can use to implement policies and standards to benefit a diverse workforce. For more information about Bauer College and this podcast series, visit www.bauer.uh.edu/podcast.